Hmm. For an academy of sciences and whatnot, I'm just like, this seems like a lot of polluted air to worry about. It's so dusty in here. It's gotta be bad for you. It's gotta be bad for you. Who are you? Enthusiastic student. Ugh. Enthusiastic student. I've been attending lectures for 4 years now, and I've never seen anything like this. Full house, and not a sound, not even a rustle. Lilith has a gift for capturing attention. Capturing attention is an entertainer's job. A lector should teach, not amuse. Daniil Dankovsky, I'm sorry. It was with all due respect that I said that. Have you been to Lilich's lecture? What do you think? I repeat my question. What was the lecture about? What can you remember from it? I didn't actually ask this question before, so it's not repeating technically. The dialogue just doesn't always have continuity, like stage to stage, and oftentimes they say the same thing no matter what. It's a little weird. Lilith spoke of law and ethics and medicine, of precedents and these paradoxes. This is what it's like whenever you ask somebody to recap what Jordan Peterson said, and there was like, and it's like they don't realize that he's just like stringing together a bunch of smart sounding bullshit, and then he kind of doesn't have a point most of the time. What kind of paradoxes did she use as examples? All these years we spend teaching you students, and then an Inquisitor comes, and at once, everyone can see that power is more attractive than any science. Veronica Croy, she has a name. Can anyone explain to me on what grounds the college allows the Inquisition's hangmen behind their pulpit? I've always thought that the Institute's goal was to teach its students critical thinking. But look at them. It's almost as if they were worshipping this Lilith woman. I know you. You're Veronica Croy, 3rd year. I thought your last name was familiar. Is Inquisitor Croy your relative, or is it just your namesake? Damnation. I've renounced my family. I've enrolled in medical school, and still my father's name is ruining my life, even here. I'm sorry. I was trained to be an Inquisitor all my childhood. Just imagine not having any control, even over your own life. It was like being forced into a marriage. And I wanted something different. And you've made it. You're in medical school and doing great. I feel like the shadow of my father is still pursuing me, even here. If only I could somehow explain to them that the Inquisition can't be trusted, and that swearing loyalty to them is certain death. I'm just placing my hopes in the survival of the fittest here. If a student is indeed that naive and climbs into the mousetrap of their own free will, then they deserve it. You're a cruel man, Bachelor. You would have made a great Inquisitor. I'll pass. I'm researching death, and it's way more interesting than the Inquisition, even though it's almost impossible to tell the two apart sometimes. Here she is. Ah.
Only fool children think there's magic in paper lanterns. And I was a bright child.
Is she always gonna look like she's looking above you? That's interesting. Daniil Dankovsky. Very pleased to meet you. It's not just courtesy. I'm speaking from my heart. I have already had the honor of meeting you, but I doubt you remember. The recap was like, I was almost killed, but I actually met an Inquisitor back at a chess tournament. And then when I meet her, she's like, I already met you in the past. She's like, what? I think you've got the wrong man. I'm sure I'd have remembered meeting an Inquisitor. I attended your lecture 3 years ago at Lamarca's. I even took your autograph. The girl in a long shirt, do you remember? I asked you about the glassy lips, too. And you? Did you attend my presentation? I didn't see you in the hall. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your presentation was for a student audience, and I'm a lecturer. Either way, I'm glad we met. I must admit your lecture made a powerful impression on me. When I got an opportunity to speak at the Institute, I immediately thought of you and wanted to see you. See me to what end? Your research sparked an extraordinary interest. And I don't just mean my interest. You'd be surprised to learn how often I hear my colleagues say your name. Far back as 3 years ago, you already went further in your struggle against death than many men alive. Inquisitors know my name. Should I be worried? Only if you've been violating the law. My Academy colleagues are certain that I've been violating the laws of nature. Does this count? I should have guessed. The Academy is a bag of snakes. Those sage old men have been a fixture of the place for years. Barba non facit philosophum is lost on them now. However, the Inquisition has its tools with which to rein in the sage old men. Remember the Neustadt scandal? He was left alone in the end. He's become an Inquisitor's servant, and the Academy no longer has power over him. I've heard about Neustadt. A Pyrrhic victory. 2 of his colleagues from the laboratory were later executed. That's a lie. Neustadt's colleagues met the fate they met for entirely different reasons. Your research is of the utmost importance, Dankovsky. And if the Academy disagrees, so much the worse for them. You need protection. You're going to protect me from the Academy? But who's to protect me against you? Well then, Bachelor. Play this chess game as you see fit. But you'd be surprised how the situation changes as soon as a servant of the Inquisition speaks the name of their patron and adds judica causam taum. Pawn to queen in one. How do you like that? The greatest lie of chess was to convince pawns they could become queens. Interesting. So an attempt was made. Oop. And I'm here again. How's my inventory doing? Okay, I didn't lose any of that stuff. Seemed to have some persistent inventory even though I'd already played a little bit. Suitcases and Thanatica. That's all I am. Miserable. The long distance trains are filthy and crime-ridden. Don't open the door for Telman until I'm back. Is there anything in here? Nope. Yeah, it's treating what happened so far like it didn't happen, basically, and just sort of sending me back here. Unsolvable problem. The Inquisitor strikes while the iron is hot. First thing upon arrival, he wants me executed. How can I resist such pressure? The Inquisitor shall not touch the Inquisitor's servant. This is the law. Judica causam taum. So I did pledge myself to her then. I didn't have a choice? That's the only way that I can be alive? Even if I didn't want to? Seems to be jammed onto us. Okay. Well, this will play out differently then. Wait a moment, citizen. We're looking for Daniil Dankovsky. We were told he was staying in the Stillwater. Oh, I see. Karminsky sent for me. I hope you don't intend on wasting the precious time of Aglaya Lilich's servant. Come on, people. Judica causam taum. What did you just say? That's Latin. Judica causam taum, meaning judge your own cause. If you work for the Inquisition, you should at least know that's motto. You know Aglaya Lilich. What keen perception you have. How did you know? What should we do now? Didn't expect him to, you know, be one of Lilich's guys. Me neither. Let's just take him to the cathedral. The boss can sort this out himself. It is a him? There's a different Inquisitor this time? There he is. He kind of looks like the military man. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Did they merge the characters? A lot of familiar faces here right now. Mark Karminsky, Inquisitor. The Inquisition is an organization of special intellectual emissaries whom the powers that be send to solve unsolvable problems. Each has their own way of going about it. Few know the Inquisitors by name, giving them sobriquets instead. Karminsky's is the hanging judge.
Why would you want celestial spheres? I suggest a celestial tesseract.
Got little vampire fangs, kinda. Daniil Dankovsky. I was curious to meet you. I hope my men weren't too much trouble. I ordered them to be polite, but sometimes they're getting overzealous. Well, at least they didn't execute me on the spot. Your sense of humor doesn't fail you, even in the middle of an epidemic. I'm glad to see that, especially given the circumstances. I've recently heard some terrible news while leaving the capital. My condolences. The sympathy is all mine. This town is a fine mess, and you're the one having to deal with it now. Ah, of course. This place has no line to the capital, so you don't know. Hearings are being held as we speak concerning the shutdown of Thanatica. I can imagine how tough you're having it. They're taking the wrecking ball to your brainchild while you're here. I am here. I can see what's on your mind, and I'd advise against it. I've been made aware of someone in this town who's said to help people escape quarantine. One Grigory Phelan, I think. Some name That sounded like a verb. My men are already on the lookout for him. You sound like you're baiting me. Brought up escaping, named the man to turn to. Perhaps I'm testing to see how sensible you are. Or perhaps it's the other way around, and I'm trying to keep you from making a horrible mistake. I know human nature. People are wont to do awfully stupid things, such as rushing over to the Capitol to attend a hearing, hoping against hope to save their science, even knowing there is no chance anymore. I need you here. If you knew human nature, you wouldn't have told me about Thanatica. Yet you chose to tell me. What's in it for you? The best way to make a good first impression is to be frank. I've been frank with you, and I'm asking the same of you. You want frankness? Here goes. You're wasting my time. If you want help, give me more resources and people. I understand, but first you will have to help me. I will now appoint you an Inquisitor. What? Not for long. Just for an hour. The local authorities did something much less humane when they chose to hand you the power over the town for the whole duration of the epidemic. I've seen the reports. You've been doing well so far. You've seen everything, participated in everything. Who better than you to judge the cases of other people in this case? Says I have an hour, but they put me in the temple where time doesn't pass. Even during dialogue, it's not changing from 10 o'clock, when dialogue normally makes time pass in this game. A departure from the previous ones. I don't want to judge anyone. I'm afraid it's too late. I've appointed you an Inquisitor. For the part you played in the events in the last week. The accused are already here. They must be heard out and indicted. I'll be your assistant, advising you on the details. And since their fates are hanging by a thread, let's not make them wait. What? What will happen to the accused? Can they be acquitted? If they can't, what kind of punishment awaits them? The accused will get what they deserve. Do you consider the Inquisition's trial to be unfair? No. The Inquisitor is in the same space of uncertainty as the accused. The difference is that he can control it. Are you ready to try your hand at this art? This is a nightmare. I'd be better off shot by your men. Bit of a protest. Mark Karminski. I don't remember him. And he's a queen, as expected. An Inquisitor is the queen. Is this an entirely new character that replaced the previous version, I wonder? That's wild. Been a while. Obviously, it's been 7 years since the last game, but I think Lilith was in the last game. So we're not really maintaining continuity here. Straight up contradictory events now. Because the quests aren't the same for the different characters, but that's because they're presumably doing different actions in parallel. Interesting group of characters. There's no Canes in here. The other two queens are in here. We have one Stamaton, but not the other. And none of the Canes. You probably deserve to be judged, you pain in the ass. You're a mass slaver that locked everyone up to die.
Anterior costal margin, discal cells, and of course, the wing root.
One Artemy Burrock, named the Ripper. The accused is charged with breaking into the abattoir and the termitary, both under quarantine, extracting organs from living people. abducting children. The first two are true. Last one isn't, as far as I can tell. It depends on your definition of abducting, I guess. Protecting kids that seem to be orphans on the street to begin with? So at that point, it's taking children in, I guess. Not accused of murdering people, despite being nicknamed the Ripper. He's not actually being accused of being a murderer, right? I guess the extracting organs from living people, but not the part where he was originally called the Ripper, which was for killing people in the street.
It'll be difficult for you to get used to our traditions.
So did he also know this in advance? Because he said that there's going to be a moment where I need to stick up for him. You forgot to mention that I also killed my father. Who are you trying to impress with your sarcasm? The allegations of patricide are foolish and unfounded. The court understands that. But thank you for reminding us. Your father's death and the false accusations made for a compelling reason to grow bitter and seek revenge on your hometown. What say you, Inquisitor? I don't find it plausible he sought revenge on anyone, least of all the entire town. Thanks for not turning me into a boogeyman, Emshen. You'd be the only one. His motives might be up for debate, but his actions are tangible. So, let us examine each charge separately. First, visiting the abattoir, possibly the termitary, a gross violation of the established quarantine. Does the accused plead guilty? I'd be dumb to deny it. I was at the abattoir. Didn't really make it into the termitary. They kept me out, but I tried. How else was I supposed to study the plague? Burke is right. It's useful for a physician to see the real routes of infection with their own eyes. But is the accused a physician? An unfinished education. Some rumors of surgical experience during the war. In a war zone. Any biography can be fabricated. Who would verify it? Your verdict on the first charge, Inquisitor. Is he guilty or not? Not guilty. However, the accused doesn't even deny visiting the abattoir or attempting to enter the termitary. Acquittal is impossible without compelling arguments. What? Wait, the abattoir? Burke went there at my request. He was looking for a patient for my research. I'm willing to take responsibility. Is that so? Curious. Delegating your dirty work, are you? However, the benefit of your research is evident. The court acknowledges the argument and dismisses the first charge. Let's move on to the second one. Organ harvesting from the living. In other words, aggravated murders committed with extreme cruelty. Your evidence is based on rumors. The possibility of extracting an organ from a terminally ill patient was considered, but in the end, the woman died of the plague at the hospital. Is that so? Very well. We'll make an inquiry with the hospital, but consider it a formality. Your authority is sufficient to dismiss the second charge. The third matter on the agenda, according to the evidence collected by the Inquisition, the accused ingratiated himself with children and led them away to an unknown location. We have reason to be concerned about their lives and well-being. Those children can't be kidnapped. They are orphans, and no one wants them, especially now when everyone is busy saving their own skin. I care for them, just as my father did before me. Then present them to the court. The townspeople are worried that the children may have been used for organs as well. I refuse. But why? I swore to protect them, and so far the Inquisition seems worse than most of the threats they've faced before. I have some input on this. I saw them with my own eyes yesterday. Half the town's children are putting themselves in greater danger than the orphans in Burrock's care. You're willing to use your own name to refute the rumors. How noble. The court accepts your argument, but remember that ordinary people are enraged by even a hint of crimes against children. The accused is acquitted of the third charge. So what now? The Inquisition acquits Artemy Burrock of all charges. To the court's astonishment, he's free to go. But I want you to keep something in mind, Dankovsky. Those charges didn't appear out of thin air. The town sees Burrock as a maniac. If he does something controversial again, everyone will remember who declared the offender not guilty last time. I prefer not to get so far ahead of myself. Today, Burrock is guilty of nothing. Thank you, Oinyan. I won't forget this. Reminded of the freaking ancient dub of this game. Like, go, onion! Oinyan. That's a new one. It means wise one, the most respectful form of address. It's only used for those who truly understand how our world works. I'm so drained I can't even muster a witty Latin retort, for shame. Just the fucking self-aware nonsense. I'm grateful too, for all your help, and you yourself. One has survived. I wonder if I'm supposed to answer honestly in this. And maybe there are upsides and downsides to certain characters being alive or not. And maybe certain characters can be eliminated here and that might be helpful. Or is this a situation where my goal is to keep everybody alive, but I might not have the ability to do so yet? Like maybe I need to do things on other days and gain different bits of information or something. And then I can exonerate people that I maybe don't have the ability to exonerate, and maybe need to have them all alive in order to keep things going. It could be that everyone that dies or is punished makes things worse off, and your goal is to save everyone. I say that in particular because, like, by default, I would think that some of these characters are net negatives and would probably be worse, but because I've played the first two games, I remember that the first game, your goal was to try to cure every single person by the final day that got sick. In order to get the proper endings, you have to keep all of your charges alive and so on. So it feels like that might be the case here. Burrock faces 3 charges. Artemy Burrock is acquitted on all counts. I saved him. There's gonna be a pretty big cluster of quest node things just for this bit that's happening right now, really. Let alone the rest of the town. How's it looking out there anyway? No! Is it also infected? That is also... Oh my god, the entire middle place except here is infected. It's just the... Yeah, the train yard and the warehouses. I always forget the train yard technically counts. Wow, that's a lot of plague. 8 plague districts. 1 rioting district. 8 plague districts? Oh, Jesus Christ. Alright, I gotta get that freaking Shabnak shot. Wow. That seems especially vicious because I basically got it eliminated down to 0. So it's like, why did it fucking explode today? That chart basically is meaningless, I feel like. Do I do the changeling next? Get both of the queens out?
What do you think will remain after you and after me? Precisely.
Saburov. Oh, I clicked on somebody else. I was walking up to the changeling. Whoops. Alexander Saburov, the town's governor, accused of... Actually, the executive branch always bears the heaviest burden of guilt. Unpreparedness for the emergency, suboptimal decisions, etc. Saburov, the town mandated to you is a mess.
There's a twinge in my chest. Could it be conscience? Insane dialogue. I request that the court takes into account that our own town is different from others, which means maintaining order in it requires a special approach. Special? The town will take note of these words, The court will take note of these words, Saburov. Inquisitor, what is your opinion on the performance of the executive powers? The town was indeed unprepared for the plague. This raises questions. In the light of the first outbreak, 5 years was more than enough to open a hospital. You have only had the power for a week, Dankovsky, but in the time the emergency command exists, haven't you realized how strongly the town resists sensible measures, how it twists them and perverts their meaning? And yet I've managed to keep that rating down. The Epidemic Emergency Command. Yes. Tell me, Saburov. You understand how this might look, right? You found someone who would make all the inevitable mistakes instead of you. First, the incompetent Olgimsky Jr., then Dankovsky, who doesn't know the town. I'm pretty sure Vlad the Younger was installed in the emergency command by his father. Your point of view is clear, Inquisitor. Now, let's consider the additional circumstance. Do you know this young lady, Saburov?
You've changed, haven't you? Or am I seeing things?
How are you, Father? I can't believe you brought Clara here. What does she have to do with the trial? The young lady is regularly. The young lady is regularly spotted walking around the infected districts. Some of the townspeople believe she spreads the plague. Others say she heals without medicine, literally just by laying on hands, and the number of these people is constantly swelling. The girl fancies she can help the town. Naivete is not a crime. I've helped you, Dr. Mann. I've told you what to do with the one following you. Remember that, at least. Because, you know, ingratitude can corrode like acid. So you admit you know the Inquisitor. Perfect. Do you have anything to add, Inquisitor? She has been to the first infected house, and she's reported it to Saburov. She was trying to stop the plague. Thank you, Dr. Mann. I was doing this for you too. For everyone. Let's take a closer look. The young lady visits the infected districts with unknown purposes. She lures the townsfolk into a cult of her name. These achievements are too impressive for her age. This raises the question, is there someone more experienced behind her? For example, the man who has sheltered her. What? No, of course not. You're just making things up and Karminsky. Why the naive outrage, Saburov? Have you never heard that emergencies are useful
for the executive branch. The temptation of emergency powers, which can, with enough cunning, be prolonged indefinitely. Yeah, it's what our government's doing right now in the United States. I wanted to specify 2026, but actually it's been every year since 2001. So for the last 25 years, the US government's been doing this continuously. It's not great. We're not doing great. Here's the hypothesis. Both the cult and the spreading of disease by the young lady play right into your hands. You're the director and the puppeteer of her deeds. No, I didn't know anything. In fact, I asked her to be more careful, to avoid coming close to the infected houses. Did you go there, Clara? What deeds? What directing? How can you direct that, what you don't know about? Wait a minute. Either you are the adopted father, which means you're responsible for your daughter and whatever she does, or the young lady is on her own. So, what will it be? Are you responsible or not? You can't put the question like this. I repeat, I knew nothing. I object. This court has no need to hear cases of family law. It was necessary, Father. I never harmed anyone. I just helped. Do you believe me? An excellent question. So, do you agree that your daughter is entirely in the right and was acting with your approval? You can say he's responsible for his daughter's actions ultimately, if that's the way you want to play it, but you don't have to say that it was inherently with his approval, even if he's responsible for her. That doesn't make any sense. I believe her, but please understand I could not control her. I don't believe the governor was behind the actions of Clara and the changeling. He's too straightforward for that. The court hears you, Inquisitor. But right now it's more important to hear Saburov. Are you ready to admit that Clara is your daughter and consequently her actions could have been prevented by you? No. Put this down on a record. The governor has disowned his adopted father. It's getting a little late. The governor has disowned his adopted daughter, thus clearing his name from the accusations, at least the ones concerning her. Dad. Didn't you hear it, Clara? The former governor is not your father. I think we should give the accused some privacy, Inquisitor. It's not every day that a father disowns his daughter. That he met a week ago? I'd cast the first stone at Clara, but this was just cruel. And so they're gone. Huh. Just like that, they're gone. Alexander Saburov is stripped of his governor's title. So he both lost his governorship and his daughter. It definitely felt like they were going to fixate on specifically... that's not changeable either. That's not actually a choice. That's not. There's no gear there for changing it the way you can with the haruspecs. You're basically just watching a scene play out. It definitely felt like one of them was going to have to face the consequences of what happened. It felt like they were going to say that either
Saburov shoulders the blame and the consequences of his daughter, or he disowns her and thus she is left alone to then suffer the consequences. Instead, the Inquisitor just seems satisfied with having forced him to disown her, and that's it. And then neither of them face consequences. The consequences dissolved in the aether. Huh. It's a bit strange, or at the very least, the choice. It makes it seem like the disowning didn't redirect the blame in any real way, so you might as well have not done it. Strange, just strange, petty behavior, but the Inquisitor's never likable in these, especially. All right, well, next time we'll dig deeper into this mess.